Shut up and sit down.
What is the story, Internet? I hope everyone is having a wonderful Monday. Hope you're all ready for another week full of football matches. There's no matches in the Bundesliga, Serie A, La Liga. There's one match in the Liga, but there. So just a quick recap. There wasn't an upset, but there was almost an upset in the FA Cup. Wickham were leading Spurs for quite a while, and then Gareth Bale's first FA Cup goal in 8 years since he was last at Tottenham brought them back level, and then a crazy last 5 to 10 minutes from the 86th minute onwards made Spurs win 4-1. So fair play to them. So let's jump into the into the Premier League matches. I'm going to go through Tuesday's matches, and then there's something that I want to discuss going on in the world of football once we get to Wednesday. So first match, we have Newcastle versus Leeds United. Leeds are on a bit of a dodgy spiral at the moment. They've lost, I think, is it 3 matches on the bounce? Let's just have a look. They lost to Brighton. Let's see. Yeah, they lost to Spurs. Oh no, they beat West Brom. So they've only lost 2 on the bounce. But still, they're not doing very well at the moment. Although it could be said that Newcastle is doing even worse. They lost to Aston Villa in the only Premier League match of the weekend. So they'll be looking to bounce back from that. But Steve Bruce's men are not looking very good at the moment. So yeah, not a good time to be a Newcastle fan right now. I think that Leeds are going to win this one, and probably pretty convincingly. I think the way that they play football, even though they haven't had the results going their way, it's very expensive, very exciting, very forward-thinking. So I think they're going to win 2 or 3-0 here. Next match, Crystal Palace versus West Ham. West Ham are on an upward spiral at the moment. They just keep winning and winning and winning. They beat West Brom last week, beat Burnley the week before, and then I'm just trying to see the result before that. Beat Everton 1-0. So they're eking out results. They haven't won any crazily, usually by a 1, maybe a 2 goal margin, but still points are points at the end of the day. And it sees them very comfortably in 7th. So now there are Everton, who are above them and level on points, and Aston Villa, who are below them 3 points behind, do have 2 matches in hand, but still, this is incredible for a West Ham team that were just woeful last season. So David Moyes is doing something right at the moment. Southampton versus Arsenal. This is a rematch of the FA Cup match over the weekend, where Southampton won thanks to a Gabriel own goal. So Arsenal will be looking to get revenge for that one. We'll see if they're able to do that, or if Southampton are able to do the double in 3 days. So I think it's going to be a very entertaining match. I think Arsenal are going to get the revenge. I think it's going to be 2-1, personally. Next match, West Brom versus Manchester City. Not a lot to say here. Manchester City have got to be the favourites. West Brom have just been woeful recently. And it's not even that they're playing bad football, it's just that they're getting awful results. And so I think Manchester City would be nailed on favourites here to win this one, and be very surprised if they didn't. And in doing so, take themselves to the top of the table, even if it's just for 24 hours until Manchester United plays. So I think Pep Guardiola's men are in a position to do this. So before we get into the first match on Wednesday, since it is Chelsea versus Wolves, just want to talk about Frank Lampard being sacked. It seems like all talk is hinting to Thomas Tuchel being the next Chelsea manager. I think it's an interesting appointment. I think he's probably the best available man for the job, I would say. But Frank Lampard, he did so well with Chelsea last season, especially with the transfer ban and all the youngsters coming through and everything like that. And yes, he's had a rough couple of matches, but give the man a chance. He brought Chelsea from the dregs of where they were last year and brought them up to be a Champions League challenging side and got them into the Champions League. So I think it's, especially after winning in the FA Cup, I know it's only the FA Cup and it was only against, I think, was it Luton? Against Luton. It was off the back of a victory. They could have built on that. But it looks ultimately like Thomas Tuchel was already in the wings, and regardless of the result, it was just a matter of time. The writing was on the wall. And I found it interesting. There was an article that was talking about how Frank Lampard reacted to Andre Villas-Boas when he was sacked as Chelsea manager, and there were definitely some parallels. He said that the players had nothing to do with it, and I think that that's very true in this case. I'd be very surprised if they did. And he said that it seems like Villas-Boas was sacked because he was a young manager and didn't have enough experience. And I think that Frank Lampard fits into that category. But at the same time, I don't think he was given the opportunity that, say, Klopp or Ole Gunnar Solskjaer were given, or Ranieri at Leicester. I don't think he was given a fair shot. And even if they didn't do well this season, I think that they had enough to build on for next season and to push on. And then if he wasn't doing well next season, then fair play. But after last season, I think he was allowed to have a little bit of a blip. And I mean, they went on, I think, what was it, a 7 or 8 game unbeaten streak, and Mendy kept 6 clean sheets. And so they had performances, but that is the world of football. Sometimes it's cutthroat. So so leading into Chelsea versus Wolves, we'll see if Tuchel is in charge or if this is going to be a caretaker manager job. I'm not sure who would take over. I'm not sure who Lampard's assistant is, or who would be the reserve coach, or whoever would step up. But it'll be interesting to see, will they be able to press on either without a manager, or will they be able to implement the new manager's tactics in time? It'll be interesting to see. I think Wolves could strike while the iron's hot here and go for the jugular. And it'd be interesting to see, because if Wolves beat Chelsea, then that will give Southampton an opportunity to overtake them, Arsenal an opportunity to overtake them, and then Leeds, Palace and Wolves an opportunity to catch up. So I think Chelsea need to be careful that this doesn't sink a ship and sink the new manager before he's even started. So the players will have to rally and put in a good performance at Stamford Bridge, but only time will tell. Next match, Burnley versus Aston Villa. Burnley had a good result over the weekend, 3-0 against Fulham. They had a fantastic result last week, 1-0 against Liverpool. So they'll be feeling on cloud 9. Aston Villa, as I mentioned earlier, they beat Newcastle over the weekend, so they'll also be in good spirits. So I think Burnley will definitely be feeling the more confident, though, because Aston Villa did lose to City, even though they beat Newcastle. I think that Burnley will definitely be having the wind in their sails and will lead them in the right direction. However, as we've seen, Aston Villa are a hard side to break down, so it should be an interesting match. Will Burnley's defensive prowess prove to be valuable once again? Only time will tell. Next match, Brighton versus Fulham. Not the most exciting of matches, unfortunately. Fulham did just lose in the FA Cup to Burnley, as I mentioned previously. They need to win this match, though, to keep pace on Brighton, because Brighton are currently 5 points ahead of them. If they win this, they also have a game in hand. So they need to get those 6 points to take themselves above Brighton. So I think that Fulham will come out fighting. And it's whether or not Brighton can soak up the pressure and create their own chances, because they need to win as well, so that they can overtake Newcastle, potentially overtake Burnley, depending on how that result goes, and keep pace with Wolves. If they win, then they're 2 points behind Wolves. So could be anyone's game, but I think that Fulham are going to come out fighting here because of what it means to them. Next match, Manchester United versus Sheffield United. Potentially first against 20th, if things stay as they stand currently. I don't want to say it's going to be an easy match, as we saw last time out. Sheffield United gave us a run for our money, scoring early. I think that we need to respect them, but at the same time we need to go for the jugular here, because they are the team in 20th and we need to get those vital points to stay atop the table. And we can't afford any slippages with City so close behind and with a game in hand. So I think United will probably win. We're just in such a run of form at the minute, and after beating Liverpool, we just can't get complacent, get cocky and let it go to our heads and then lose our heads. So, but I'm predicting a United win. Next match, Everton versus Leicester City. This should be an interesting match. I think both teams play very exciting football, and I think that both teams will want to go out and prove themselves. Leicester are in third currently, only 2 points behind Manchester United, so they'll want to keep pace. Everton, if they win, it could potentially take them above Liverpool, because Liverpool don't play until Thursday. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see which side comes out on top, but I think it'll be a very entertaining match regardless of how it ends. I'm going to predict Leicester just because of the position that they're in the table. It lends itself to work out better that way. And then the big match of the week is on Thursday. It is Tottenham against Liverpool. Mourinho versus Klopp, 4th against 5th, however you want to put it. If Liverpool win, they'll only be a point behind Leicester. If Spurs win, then they'll leapfrog Liverpool and they'll only be 2 points behind Leicester. So a lot to play for here. I think this is going to be a case of Klopp's gegenpressing versus Mourinho's defensive tactics, and whether or not Spurs can soak up the pressure and catch Liverpool on the counter-attack. Be interesting to see. Son and Kane have been a little bit quiet recently, but they're still very dangerous. So it's honestly too close to call this one. I think Spurs are going to win, and I think that could be danger signs for Klopp. He's got a tough month coming up, but he can't afford to drop any points. And so, yeah, will we see a Mourinho masterclass? We have seen it in the past before, so it'll be interesting to see. So definitely one to look out for, though. That is on Thursday. So one last thing, I just want to go through which channels these matches are going to be on. So the Tuesday matches, Newcastle versus Leeds on NBCSN, Crystal Palace versus West Ham is on Peacock, West Brom versus City is on NBCSN and Universo, Southampton versus Arsenal is on Peacock. Then moving into Wednesday, we've got Chelsea versus Wolves, Burnley versus Aston Villa, Brighton versus Fulham, they're all on Peacock. And Manchester United versus Sheffield is on NBCSN and Universo. And then Everton versus Leicester is on Peacock. And then the big one on Thursday is Spurs versus Liverpool, and that is on NBCSN and Universo. So that is everything for the midweek fixtures. I will be back on Thursday to review those matches, and then back on Friday to discuss the upcoming weekend's matches. So until then, I hope you're all staying safe and keeping out of trouble. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And until next time, ta-ra for now.